Elvis Presley thought the story of Priscilla was already written. Young love, bright lights, then a clean break in 1973. But 2 years later, in a dusty Graceland closet, she found the diary he never meant her to see. One missing page, and one sentence would change how he remembered her forever. It's December 13th, 1975, Las Vegas Hilton. About 2,000 people squeeze into the main showroom, shoulders pressed tight, perfume and cigarette smoke floating under gold lights. Cameras flash near the front tables as the band holds one low note, waiting. Waiters rush between tables with silver trays. Glasses clink. People lean toward the empty mic stand, shouting his name. The whole room feels like it is holding its breath for one man in a white jumpsuit. But upstairs, in Suite 3000, there is almost no sound at all. Elvis Presley sits on the edge of the bed. His dark jacket is still on, shirt open at the neck, hair sprayed from the last show. In his hands, there is something that does not belong in a casino hotel. A plain brown envelope, bent at one corner, with a name written in soft blue ink. Priscilla. He runs his thumb over the letters as if they might blur. The postmark says Memphis, weeks ago. He has carried this envelope from Graceland to the plane, from the plane to this room, tucked inside his jacket like a small hidden bruise. He has not opened it. Not yet. Outside the door, his road manager Joe Esposito argues with a hotel guard about extra security and time. Through the carpet and the walls, you can feel the crowd below, clapping in slow rhythm, calling out for Elvis. They did not buy these tickets to sit in the dark. Tickets sold out in less than an hour. Some people flew in from Texas and California just to be in this room for 90 minutes. What would you do if you had waited your whole life for one night, and the minutes kept slipping away? Elvis knows all of this. The Hilton sign outside flashes his name over the strip in red letters, again and again. The casino has turned away other acts so he can fill this stage. He is supposed to be the center of everything tonight, the king. But on this bed, he does not feel like a king. He feels like a man who once loved a woman, lost her, and then told himself a neat story so the pain would make sense. Young love, bright lights, clean break in 1973. That is the version the world knows. That is the version he has tried to hide inside. The problem is, stories do not always stay where you put them. His hand trembles as he lifts the envelope. The paper makes a dry, careful sound. On the TV, the crowd roars as a boxer lands a punch. Up here, the only sound is his breathing and the low hum of the broken phone. Have you ever held a letter you were afraid to open, because you knew one page could change the way you remember someone forever? A knock taps the door. 3 quick raps. Then Charlie Hodge, his friend and guitar man, steps in with a tired smile. 5 minutes, he says. They're ready for you. Elvis nods without looking up. Charlie sees the envelope, knows the handwriting, and his smile fades. For a moment, Elvis thinks about handing it over, letting Charlie tuck it away in a guitar case or hotel safe. He could walk downstairs, sing the hits, flash the grin, and no one in that shining room would ever know this letter existed. The crowd would cheer, the papers would praise him, and the story would stay exactly the same. He doesn't move. He closes his fist around the paper until his knuckles turn white. Below them, the roar grows louder, glasses and forks rattling as people pound on the tables for him. Joe's voice comes through the door, sharper now. Elvis, it's time. We need you on stage. Before he sings the next song, Elvis will have to decide what to do with that letter. Graceland, October 3rd, 1974. The sun hangs low over the white pillars, making them glow like a memory you're scared to touch. Inside the visitor log, a blue signature curls across the page P.W. No one else signs their name like that. Priscilla steps through the front door slowly, almost like she's afraid the house might breathe. The marble floor under her shoes still knows the sound of her footsteps. The air carries a faint smell of cologne, fried peanut butter sandwiches, and something older, something like dust resting on old dreams. Nancy Rooks, the housekeeper, walks beside her. She holds a basket of folded towels and glances at Priscilla with gentle eyes. It's been a while, she whispers. Priscilla nods. Her throat tightens. Everything looks the same. Gold records in the hallway, wedding photos in the living room, but none of it belongs to her anymore. Sometimes it hurts more when nothing changes. They move past the stairs toward a side hallway. Light filters through a stained glass window, throwing soft colors across the floor. Priscilla touches the wall with her fingertips, just brushing the memories. This was the house where she raised their daughter. This was the house where they figured out how to be young parents, even when fame followed them everywhere like a stubborn shadow. Where are we going? Priscilla asks. Nancy nods toward a small back bedroom Elvis used between tours. Someone left a mess in the closet. Figured you might want to look before we toss anything. The closet door creaks when she pulls it open. Inside, a dusty army duffel from his Germany days, 3 pairs of stage boots, a tangled pile of scarves he'd tossed to fans. Under the scarves sits something black, square, and slightly bent. Priscilla reaches for it. The leather feels warm even though the room is cold. On the front, in fading gold letters, EAP 1967 to 1969, a diary. She freezes. Nancy steps back, giving her space. Did you know he had one? Priscilla shakes her head. Her pulse quickens. Elvis was always writing notes, songs, lists, scattered thoughts on napkins. But a diary is different. A diary is private. A diary is where you put the words you're too afraid to say out loud. She opens to the first page. The handwriting is unmistakably his, neat at the start, then rushed, then soft, like he wrote some lines late at night when the world got too heavy. Set list ideas, studio frustrations, scribbles about the '68 comeback special, a sketch of a crib, short prayers, little confessions. She turns the pages carefully, each one whispering under her fingertips. Then she reaches the back. A tear. Clean rip. 1 full page missing. And on the edge of the torn paper, a single incomplete sentence remains. If she ever leaves, I'll pretend I never needed her at all. The breath leaves her body. Nancy steps closer but doesn't touch her. Priscilla? Priscilla stares at the torn page, at the empty space where a truth once lived, at the words he left behind and the words he tore away. Why would he rip out a page? Why would he keep the diary but remove that? This wasn't just a diary. It was the script Elvis used to lie to himself. She shuts her eyes. Maybe he wrote something that hurt too much. Maybe he tried to protect himself from it. Or maybe he wanted her to think he never needed her so she wouldn't feel guilty when she left. Have you ever wished you could read the part of a story someone hid from you? Have you ever feared that the missing page explains everything? Priscilla presses her palm against the leather cover. She feels anger, but also compassion. She understands what it means to be scared of your own truth. She takes a slow breath. If Elvis rewrote history, maybe she should write one final line of her own. Before Nancy can ask what she's thinking, Priscilla stands, clutching the diary. Priscilla decides that if Elvis rewrote history, she'll write one last line of her own. The kitchen in Graceland is quiet that evening. The kind of quiet that makes every small sound feel louder. The hum of the old fridge, the tick of the clock near the pantry, the soft scrape of a chair as Priscilla pulls it out. Nancy Rooks sets a mug of coffee in front of her. Across from them, Elvis's cousin, Billy Smith, paces with nervous energy, his boots thumping lightly on the linoleum floor. Billy has been with Elvis since childhood. He knows when something is wrong just by the way the air feels. What did you find? Billy asks, voice low. Priscilla places the black leather diary on the table. She doesn't say anything at first. She runs her thumb along the gold-stamped letters, AP 1967 to 1969, as if she's trying to understand the man behind them. The diary, she says simply. Billy stops pacing. His eyes widen. Lord, he kept that? Priscilla nods. She opens it to the torn page. The paper crackles softly, the rip jagged and painful to look at. Nancy leans closer, her breath catching. There it is, the last full line he wrote before tearing out the rest. If she ever leaves, I'll pretend I never needed her at all. Those words sit between them like a bruise. Priscilla stares at them for a long moment. She doesn't cry. She doesn't shake. She just looks tired, like a person finally seeing the truth she always suspected. Billy sinks into the chair beside her. He wrote that after one of y'all's bad nights, he whispers. He never meant it the way it sounds. Then why write it? Priscilla's voice is soft, but it stings. Billy swallows. Because sometimes Elvis didn't know how to hurt without hiding. Nancy folds her hands on the table. People say things when they're scared. Priscilla turns the diary toward herself. The margins around the line are full of tiny notes, dates, scribbles from rehearsals, studio reminders. August 1968 is circled, the month before the '68 comeback special. Under it, Elvis drew a messy sketch of a crib. Their daughters. The lines are shaky and tender. This isn't just ink. It's the story of a man trying to understand his own life. This was his truth, Priscilla says. Or at least the truth he wanted to believe. She flips the page back and forth, fingers brushing the torn edge again and again. And the missing page, whatever he wrote there, that was the part he couldn't stand to look at. Billy nods slowly. Sometimes he'd rip whole songs out of notebooks. Said if he didn't see the words, maybe the ache would go with him. Priscilla exhales. He tore out the words that scared him. Tension builds in the room like a held breath. Have you ever removed a part of your story because facing it would hurt too much? And what if someone else still remembered every piece you tried to forget? Nancy pours more coffee. Her hands tremble slightly. Do you want to stop reading it? Priscilla shakes her head. No. I need to know what he was afraid to say. She flips through the earlier sections. Every page seems to reveal another layer of Elvis. His excitement about the TV comeback, his fears about fading fame, his longing to be a better father. Little notes like, remember flowers for her birthday, doodles of guitars, rushed lists of ways to improve himself. It's strange to see a legend think he wasn't enough. She returns to the torn page one more time, staring at that painful line. Pretend I never needed her at all. A lie he wanted to live in. A shield he built out of a sentence. This wasn't just a diary, Priscilla whispers. It was the story he told himself to survive. Billy rubs his hands together, glancing at Priscilla and then at the diary. What are you gonna do? Her eyes sharpen with a quiet decision. She slides the diary toward herself, opens to the very back, and finds one completely blank page waiting. Empty, untouched, expectant. A space for the truth he never wrote. She reaches for a pen lying near the salt shaker. Ink gleams at the tip. Priscilla picks up a pen and turns to the last blank page in Elvis's diary. The kitchen light flickers once, then settles. Priscilla sits with the pen in her hand, the diary open to that last blank page. The empty space feels heavier than the torn one. It's the kind of silence that asks for honesty. Nancy Rooks watches quietly from the doorway, her towel still slung across one arm. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't need to. She knows this moment is bigger than the room they're in. Priscilla presses the pen down. The first word comes out small, careful, almost like she's trying not to disturb the ghosts in the pages before it. She writes beneath Elvis's last dated entry, almost like she's answering a question he never asked. You didn't never need me. She stops. The ink shines in the light. A soft breath escapes her. She remembers the nights he couldn't sleep, pacing with restless energy. She remembers the tender mornings when he whispered dreams into her hair. She remembers the arguments, the pressure, the fame that ate through their walls like fire. She remembers the part of Elvis the world never saw, the boy who wanted to be enough and the man who was terrified he wasn't. Her pen touches the page again. You needed me so much it scared you. Billy Smith leans against the counter, arms crossed, eyes full of something close to heartbreak. He's seen Elvis lose himself and find himself more times than he can count. He won't expect this, he murmurs. He doesn't have to, Priscilla replies softly. She keeps writing. Each line feels like it lifts something heavy off her shoulders. I'm leaving so you can learn to need yourself. She pauses there. Those words tremble a little. They are the truth she couldn't say during the fights, the truth she couldn't find when the cameras followed them, the truth she didn't even know she carried when she walked out the door in 1973. Some truths only appear when the pain settles enough to let them in. Nancy steps closer. Do you want me to leave you alone? Priscilla shakes her head.
No.
Stay. She signs the final line slowly, almost tenderly. Priscilla, not your enemy, just your first home. The page looks fragile and full at the same time, like a wound finally stitched closed. Priscilla closes the diary with both hands, holding it for a moment. The leather is warm from her palms. The gold letters glimmer faintly. She feels something shift inside her. Something quiet, like forgiveness. Billy clears his throat. What are you gonna do with it? She doesn't answer right away. She stands, tucks the diary under her arm, and walks toward the front of the house. Her footsteps echo softly through the hallway, past the wedding photos, past the gold records, past the life she once lived. In the foyer, Nancy hands her a plain brown envelope. Use this, she says. Priscilla slides the diary inside, careful not to bend the pages. She adds a folded note, short, simple, and separate from the message she wrote inside. She seals the envelope and writes his name across the front in that same gentle blue ink. Elvis. She turns it over once, checking the seal. Her hand lingers on the flap. Will he read it? Nancy asks. Priscilla offers a sad smile. Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes the truth is not meant to force change. Sometimes it's meant to set one person free. Weeks pass. February 1975.
Las Vegas.
The Hilton suite is warm and bright, filled with stage scarves, open suitcases, and half-eaten room service trays. Elvis's road manager, Joe Esposito, enters with the morning mail. He sees the brown envelope with her handwriting. He doesn't open it. He doesn't comment. He just sets it on the dresser, right beside the white stage scarf Elvis tossed there after the last show. The room is empty when Joe leaves. The door clicks shut. The envelope sits alone, still and waiting. Hours later, Elvis returns from rehearsals. He drops his sunglasses onto the dresser, grabs a glass of water, and notices it, her name curving across the paper like a soft echo. He reaches for it. His fingers hover. The air feels tight. He lifts it slowly, carefully, the way someone touches a fragile memory they're not sure they're ready for. Up in Suite 3000, Elvis finally breaks the seal and sees his own handwriting staring back at him. Rewritten. December 13th, 1975. Night again at the Las Vegas Hilton. The casino glows with neon heat, but the hallways behind the showroom feel colder than usual. Elvis walks toward his dressing room, the envelope still in his hand. His steps are slow, heavy, as if every word Priscilla wrote is pressing down on him. The crowd below thunders. 2,000 people. Voices rise like waves hitting metal walls. They chant his name in unison, a heartbeat that shakes the floor. Elvis, Elvis, Elvis. But inside the dressing room, it's quiet. He lays the opened envelope on the table, smoothing the creases with his thumb. The diary page Priscilla wrote, her handwriting soft and honest, sits beside it. Under the bright makeup mirror lights, the ink almost glows. You needed me so much it scared you. I'm leaving so you can learn to need yourself. Not your enemy, your first home. He reads it again and again. The words hit him in different places each time. Charlie Hodge pokes his head in. He has a guitar slung over his shoulder and a towel around his neck. They're warmed up, he says. You all right? Elvis nods, but his voice doesn't come. He isn't sure if he's all right. He isn't sure of anything at all. Charlie steps closer. He sees the diary page on the counter. He knows the handwriting. He inhales sharply, then says gently, You don't have to go on if your head ain't right. Elvis shakes his head. They're waiting. Charlie nods, but worry shadows his face. He hands Elvis the white scarf for the set's opening number. 5 minutes, he murmurs. Elvis slips into the jumpsuit, adjusts the collar. He catches his reflection in the mirror, a man everyone knows, except the part he hides behind stage lights and routines. His eyes look older tonight, softer. He looks at the diary page one last time. "This wasn't supposed to be the truth," he whispers. Downstairs, the crowd roars again, louder this time. Tables shake, cocktail glasses clatter. Someone blows a whistle. Someone else screams until their voice cracks. The sound pushes through the floor like a demand. Elvis steps into the hallway. The air is warm from the stage lights radiating through the walls. Joe Esposito joins him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Let's get you in position." The band waits behind the curtain. Ronnie Tutt twirling his drumsticks. Glenn Hardin warming up chords on the piano. When he sees Elvis, Glenn pauses. The silence is thick. Everyone senses something different about him. Elvis tries to smile. Small but real. The stage manager gives the cue. The curtain lifts halfway. The crowd explodes. Flashbulbs burst like tiny fireworks. The band launches into the opening medley. The spotlight cuts through the room, landing on Elvis. He takes the mic. His voice hits the first song clean, smooth, practiced. But inside, his heart isn't in the music. It's somewhere in a quiet kitchen in Graceland, staring at a torn page that once held the version of their story he wanted to believe. 2 songs pass, then 3. He moves through them like muscle memory. But his mind keeps repeating one line. "I'll pretend I never needed her at all." And the truth Priscilla placed beneath it. The weight of both sentences pushes against him. As he begins "Can't Help Falling in Love," something in him cracks, the kind of crack that doesn't break you but opens you. He stops singing. Just stops. The band falters. Ronnie's sticks hover midair. Glenn's fingers freeze over the keys. The crowd gasps. Elvis breathes. He steps back from the mic. Charlie stares at him, confused. Elvis reaches into his pocket. His hand shakes. The room goes quiet, so quiet the air tastes like waiting. He pulls out the folded page. Short bursts of breath escape the crowd. Someone whispers, "What's he doing?" Another person stands, hands over their mouth. Elvis looks at the page, then at the audience. His voice is low, honest, bare. Halfway through the set, he mutters to himself, "And I can't sing the old story anymore." He lifts the page. Halfway through the set, he asks the band to stop and pulls a folded page from his pocket. The room holds its breath. Elvis stands at center stage, the spotlight turning his white jumpsuit into a glowing silhouette. The band waits behind him, frozen. Ronnie Tutt's drumsticks hang midair. Glenn Hardin's fingers hover over the piano keys. You can hear the faint buzz of the microphone and the soft shifting of 2,000 people trying to understand what is happening. He unfolds the page slowly. A ripple of whispers runs through the crowd. Some fans lean forward. Some stand. Others clutch their ticket stubs tight, afraid to miss a single second. The tape hiss begins. Somewhere near the back, a cheap portable recorder is rolling. It will become the only full capture of what happens next. Elvis raises the paper to chest height. He doesn't read it word for word. He doesn't even say Priscilla's name. But his eyes tell everyone this is not part of the show. The spotlight flickers. "This is something I wrote a long time ago," he says. His voice cracks slightly. "Something I told myself to make things easier." The crowd leans in. Closer. Closer. He breathes once, then says it. "I once wrote that if she ever left, I'd pretend I never needed her at all." A gasp rolls through the Hilton showroom like a wave hitting glass. It's quiet enough to hear someone drop their program on a table. Elvis lowers the page. "That was a lie," he says. Simple words, but they hit harder than any note he's ever sung. He looks down at his hands, then back at the audience. "Truth is, she held me together when I was coming apart." The microphone pops softly. Someone in the crowd cries out. A sound between a sob and a cheer. A woman's voice yells, "We love you, Elvis." Others join her, clapping, shouting, rising to their feet. For a moment he looks small, almost fragile. But then the applause grows, louder and louder, building into a storm that shakes the stage. People who came expecting rhinestones and love songs are now witnessing something different. A king choosing honesty over performance. On the bootleg recording, you can hear someone whisper, "I've never seen him like this." Another voice replies, "He's telling the truth tonight." Elvis tucks the page back into his pocket. His shoulders rise and fall with a deep breath. He nods to the band. Ronnie hits the snare softly. Glenn eases back into the keys. The music returns, but slower, warmer. Elvis finishes the show not as a legend, but as a man trying to rewrite the story he once faked for himself. The crowd stands the entire time. Months later, the bootleg cassette labeled Vegas, December 13, 75, Diary Show, is sold quietly through collectors in Memphis. Some people call it a myth. Others swear they were in the room. One of those tapes ends up in a small Memphis record shop years after Elvis is gone. Elvis is gone by August 16, 1977. Graceland fills with flowers, candlelight, and crowds lining the gates in quiet shock. Inside, the staff pack boxes carefully, sorting through objects that once felt eternal. In the archives room, a small black diary is placed into a locked drawer and labeled Personal Journal A. No one asks what's inside. No one mentions the missing page. But stories never stay locked away forever. Nancy Rooks, Billy Smith, and Joe Esposito carry their memories quietly. They don't speak to reporters. They don't sign deals. But every now and then, around a kitchen table or a back porch, one of them whispers the same thing. There was a night in Vegas when he told the truth. Collectors keep trading the bootleg cassette from the 1975 Hilton show. Most copies are muffled, shaky, imperfect. But the moment people hear his voice say, "That was a lie," they all go still. They know they're hearing a part of the king the world rarely saw. Years pass. In 1993, a women's shelter in Memphis receives an anonymous donation, money in an unmarked envelope. Along with it is a small brass plaque.
No explanation. No signature.
Just an inscription. To the ones who leave so someone else can finally grow up. Not your enemy, just your first home.
Migredsi.
The staff bolt it to the wall outside the dining room. Nobody knows who sent it. But in the visitor's book that afternoon, a looping signature appears. Visitors pause in front of the plaque. Some touch the engraved words gently. Some whisper, "I wonder who wrote that." Sometimes a young mother reads the line twice, and you can see something soften inside her. Like the words reached a place she didn't know needed light. Meanwhile, in a dusty record shop on Madison Avenue, a fan finds a cassette in a bargain bin. Written in blue ballpoint across the spine, "Diary Show, do not erase." He listens to it in his car. He hears the hush of the Hilton crowd, the mic click, the line that changed everything. And he understands why people still talk about that night like it was a hidden chapter in the Elvis, Priscilla story. How do you want to be remembered by the people you leave behind? As an echo of regret, or as the home they once had to outgrow? Our last words might not be spoken out loud. They might be written on a page no one was ever supposed to find. If this story touched something quiet inside you, share it with someone who once felt like home in your life. These small, hidden moments, letters, memories, diary pages, shape us more than any headline. And if you want more untold legends like this, stay with us. Another story waits just beyond the next page.